The Johnson Wax Program. Presenting Marion and Jim Jordan as Fibber McGee and Molly. Ted Weems and his orchestra open the show with...
Excuse me, Harpo.
What's the matter, Fibber?
Well, listen, I don't want to be persnickety or critical or didactic, but...
Oh, yeah? What does didactic mean?
Well, I don't know, but I'd hate to be that way. But what I was going to say was this. I noticed last week that, that can't you manage to get a little more hoop-de-doo into your voice?
Hoop-de-doo?
Yeah. Can't you work up a little enthusiasm, you know? Make your announcements with more gusto and
Verb?
Huh?
Verb?
What's that?
Well, I don't know, but I think that's what you mean, isn't it?
Well, roughly, yes.
McGee, come away from there.
Okay, well, just bear it in mind, Harpo. I meant it kindly.
Well, I took it kindly. Ladies and gentlemen, Ted Weems and...
Harpo!
Oh, yes, I forgot. Ted Weems and his orchestra open the show with Riding High.
Hey there, I'm Mike Gillett, your host, and welcome to When Radio Ruled, Episode 33, Fibber's Resume, 1937. This one is a short subject, about 10 minutes long, starring Jim Jordan as Fibber McGee, as in Fibber McGee and Molly. Classic Fibber and Molly episodes featured jokes, gags, and situations that often repeated from episode to episode and became running gags that listeners looked forward to each week. One of my favorite running gags is because Fibber can never admit ignorance on any subject. When invariably asked if he knows anything about this or that occupation, Fibber not only knows all about it, he used to do it professionally and was the best ever at it. And he bragged about his success through alliteration to great comic effect. You'll see what I mean. Here, just because why not, is Fibber's Resume, 1937.
Did you say you was formerly a telegraph operator, Mr. McGee?
You betcha, sis. Why, at one time, every telegraph operator in the country knew my hand on the key. Every time they heard tit-it, 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 dit-dit, they'd say, well, there's old Morse Code McGee. Morse Code McGee, they called me in them days. Morse Code McGee, miracle man of messages and magnificent metal marvel making monkeys, a minor millions messing with Morse.
McGee, remember your promise to stick to the truth.
I used to run the McGee Hardware Company down in Phoenix. The McGee Hardware Company, makers of bolts to the world and nuts to everybody.
Oh.
Yes, sir. Faucet Fixer McGee, they called me in them days.
Oh.
Faucet Fixer McGee, foremost fishhook fancier and flush valve finagler, featuring finest frying pan, slice waters, and frog spears from Phoenix to Florida.
Heavenly days, what a financial expert you turned out to be.
Who, me? Why, say I used to be the biggest banker in the whole state of California. Cash Counting McGee, I was known as in them days. Cash Counting McGee, the clever, crafty, coupon-cutting cutie, collecting colossal coffers of cold cash from confident customers and careful corporations from Cape Cod to California.
You know, I think you have a definite place in our organization. Oh, how are you on self-defense?
Who, me? Why, shucks. When I was a special police agent and Java chief, I was expert in jiu-jitsu. Jiu-jitsu McGee, I was known as in them days.
Oh, my.
Jiu-jitsu McGee, the jumping, jabbing genius, jeering at jealous Japanese Johnnies, and jointly jolting the jugglers of jittery jailbirds from Java to Japan. I made it.
Heavenly days, you and your fishing.
Don't scoff at my fishing, madam. I used to be the champion fin finagler of Pittsburgh. Pole Toter McGee, I was known as in them days.
Oh, my.
Pole Toter McGee, the peak of piscatorial perfection, persistently pursuing pike, pickle, and pretty perch from pool to pool, and paddling through every possible puddle and pond from Puxatawny to Pittsburgh. Directing is old stuff to me.
Oh, dear.
I used to toss off a mean epic in the old silent days. Director McGee, I was known as in them days.
Oh, my.
Director McGee, the devil-may-care dialogue doctor for dirty desperados, doggy dowagers, dangerous dudes, and dandiest dopester of delicate dilemmas from Dodsworth to Donald Duck. I'm an old-timer at the food business.
You're telling me.
Matter of fact, I used to run a whole string of jam and java joints up in Pocatello. Provision McGee, I was known as in them days.
Oh, my.
Provision McGee, the peppy personality proprietor of premier produce places, providing pleased people of Pocatello the prettiest peaches, proudest peanuts, particularly palatable party pastries, and promoting poetic pies from Pocatello to Panama. Matter of fact, Bud, at one time I had me the finest herd of Holsteins in the whole state of Michigan. Moo Moo McGee, I was known as in them days. Moo Moo McGee, the mighty maestro of the milkmen, mainstay of the modern movement from manual manipulation of machine milking, and master of millions of metal meriting moolies from Middleville, Maine to Monroe, Michigan. I started out as a newsboy in Chicago, Ed, when I was just a kid. Loud Lung McGee, I was known as in them days. Loud Lung McGee, the limber-legged leader of the lads in the loop, literally laying out loads of the latest linotype literature, loafing around with life, liberty, and look, and the most lovable little larrikin from Labrador to Louisiana. Yes, sir. I used to operate the old Ramsey House in Racine. Resort Runner McGee, I was known as in them days.
Oh, my.
Resort Runner McGee, the resourceful, ready room renter, rejecting the rabble, respectful to regular residents, resenting raucous radios and recreation rooms, refusing to rent rowboats to rowdy rummies, regaling rich roomers with rare recipes, and really revolutionizing the resort racket from Racine to Rhode Island.
Did you ever actually teach school, Mr. McGee?
Did I ever teach school? Why, back in Columbus, Ohio, Guff, in my younger days, I was the #1 educator. Curriculum McGee, I was known as in them days.
Oh, my.
Curriculum McGee, the clever, conscientious contriver of classroom courses, carefully correlating cooking, carpentry, calculus, criminology, and commerce, and casually completing a colossal collection of curious classics on courtship from Cleopatra to King Carol. I used that idea back in 1899 when I first started building cars down Hagerstown. I invented the old one-cylinder Hemingway. The Hemingway? Yeah. I called it the Hemingway because I used a sewing machine for an engine. Chuck, you should have seen me spooling along the Boston Post Road. Honk Honk McGee, I was known as.
Oh, my.
Honk Honk McGee, the heady, happy handler of horseless hacks, whooping hilariously over high hills, hummocky highways, and heartily hated by hundreds of hicks for hitting hen hogs and haystacks from Hagerstown to Harrisburg. $40. You mean you pay a guy? Why, that's ridiculous, Bud. I only used to get $30 when I was chief window trimmer for Bodiger, Bediger, Bidiger, Bootiger, and Shapiro in New York.
Oh, are you a window trimmer?
Am I a window trimmer? You hear that, Molly? Am I a window trimmer?
Well, are you?
Why, say, Bud, I trimmed windows on Fifth Avenue and Broadway for years. Trimmer McGee, I was known as in them days.
Oh, my.
Trimmer McGee, the temperamental Titanic tornado attacking tissue with a terrific technique for taking a twisted tapestry and teasing it into a tender tableau in tune with the tempo of the times, tastefully transposing two-bit trash into tempting treasures, trickily titillating townspeople from 10th Avenue to Tarrytown. I was the star kicker of old Siwash. Many's the time the coach used to say to me, McGee, he'd say, you do more kicking than all the rest of the boys put together. I was the big toe of the Big Ten then. Pigskin McGee, I was known as in them days.
Oh, my.
Pigskin McGee, positively the most popular pachydermy padded pants, prodigious passer, plunger, and punter, perfect powerhouse and pile driver plays, pounding opponents to pulp, pleasing patrons and press, and predominating the pigskin picture, public and private, from Pensacola to Pittsburgh. Used to own my own little sloop. My own little sloop named Hanky. But I lost it in a bad blow around the horn. Blow me down, McGee, I was known as in them days.
Oh, you don't say.
Blow me down, McGee, the big brutal barnacle bucko with big bunchy biceps, boldy bulldozing brawny bilge bums, beating the blustering bosun's brains against the bulkhead for buying busted binnacles, and brilliantly beating better boats from Baltimore to Bimini Bay. You know that I was once the head chef at the Ritz Amsterdam in Philadelphia?
Yeah, but I want to know.
Potluck McGee, I was known as in them days. Potluck McGee, the prize producer of perfect pancakes, puree of peas, peach pudding, powerful paragon of pastry, particularly pot pies, potato patties, and princely pork chops for plain people, and proudly purveying pretty platters of personally patented pepper pot penguin to politicians, poets, presidents, and panhandlers from Palo Alto to Punxsutawney. Bullet Bouncer McGee, I was known as in them days, Daisy.
I declare.
Bullet Bouncer McGee, the big bold bush Billy, brave beyond belief, brilliantly bumping off black-bearded backwoods boys, bombarding billions of baffled, befuddled bozos behind boulders and back of beach trees, bandying bright banner with big bunches of bragging bullies, and the best-known buckthorn battler from Baltimore to Birmingham.
McGee, what on earth is the matter with your face?
Them horses knocked a couple of teeth loose.
Well, I told you didn't know enough to handle that Ben-Hur business.
Oh, is that so? Why, say, up in Saskatchewan, I was the leading theater man. Thespian McGee, I was known as in them days.
Oh, my.
Thespian McGee, the sensational source of thrilling, throbbing stage and circus
Oh,
dancing.
stop it, sweetheart, stop it.
So long.
Good night, all.
Thanks for listening to Fibber's Resume 1937, starring Jim Jordan, Marion Jordan, and the cast of Fibber McGee and Molly. I'm Mike Gillett, your host. When Radio Ruled is a Before TV production. Copyright 2022.
My darling, I miss you tonight, stop. I wish I could kiss you tonight, stop. Want to let you know just how I am, so I'm sending you this telegram. The weather is rainy and cold, stop. The next house to our house was sold, stop. Lovely neighbors moved in by the way, came around to borrow eggs today. Here's some news that's really news, Mr. Brown became a pop. Don't forget to wire and say, congratulations, stop. My darling, there's so much to write, stop. A letter will follow tonight, stop. Wonder if you're lonely as I am. Now I've got to close this telegram. I love you, stop. Mean it, stop. Phone me, stop. Write me, stop. But don't stop loving me.